Hey, welcome back, MLS Listings, to another MLS Listings Vendor Spotlight. I'm your host, Dave Sklar, as always. And we're thrilled to welcome back Suzanne Rain from NewHomeSource Pro. Suzanne, how you doing today?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me. I always look forward to this.
We look forward to it too. It's been about 4 or 5 months since we had you on last. And
Right.
It's great timing to have you back because you know what? One thing that hasn't changed from 4 or 5 months ago is we still don't have any inventory, right?
Right.
Probably even worse.
Right.
And you guys, New Home Source Pro, you go to your website, they're your MLS companion for new home construction. And, for a lot of agents out there, a chance to really maybe find a different solution for their client.
Correct. This is really important because it's one of the few times I feel like I can say this problem seems to be national. A lot of times we'll say, oh, this market's doing one thing, but it feels like the whole country is lacking real estate inventory.
Yeah, the high interest rates, right? It's a perfect storm.
Right.
And I always like to point out to people that, not only are you a great trainer, but you are also a realtor, right? Real estate.
Yeah.
And so you kind of get where agents are coming from.
Oh, right.
And their concerns and their challenges. And I think that really helps out. Suzanne, if you want to go ahead and jump on in, let's take a look at all the great things you have to offer.
Okay. So NewHomeSource Professional, for anybody who's not familiar with it, is a site that allows you to search new construction. The builders provide us the information that's on our site. The only difference between what MLS listing members would see and what is on my screen is there would be an MLS logo right here. So that's the only difference. And again, so if you're not familiar with this, builders provide the information to us. Agents come to the site and they can search new construction in any area. And I think MLS Listings allows, correct me if I'm wrong, for them to search anywhere. Is that right? Because we do have some partners that will limit their members to only the market that they're in. But
I think you are correct. And if I'm wrong, I'll do a little addendum in this and say, hey. But,
and one thing nice about that is if you have somebody moving, you've listed their home, but they're moving, you might still be able to help them. We always tell agents, we can't tell you in a different state what the rules are about a builder working with you. You could possibly refer to an agent in that area, but you could still possibly increase your value to your client by saying, hey, I can find some information so you at least know what's going on in that market someplace.
Definitely.
And so with NewHomeSource Professional, you can run a search, you take the listings, you can email them to clients with your NewHomeSource Professional account. I've talked about in the past, you have a microsite called your Showing New site that's where your clients are directed to see the information. You can take the listings using a shareable link and then post out to social media. So it has a lot of great features. And as you were mentioning, the inventory is so low. In the last few months, they've said that new construction sales were like a third of all homes that closed. Really? And that is actually, they said, was sort of unprecedented. Usually it's lower than that, but because what's happening now, if you're not familiar with builders in your area, is they're offering a lot of promotions. They're offering buy down rates. And so if somebody needs to buy, this may be a better offer, even if you had inventory, because the rates may not be so high. There's always, you have to use their lender when you get their promotions, but they'll have something like your rate the first year is this, and then it will tier down, hoping that, of course, the rates will come down and then they'll be able to refinance later on that home. So that's one good thing to know, is that builders across the nation are really ramping up, and not ramping up, but they've been for a few months now, all their promotions to help buyers get into homes right now. So we've done a couple of these specials with you, talked about how do you send listings. So what I wanted to do now was sort of show some of the changes that we've implemented. One great thing about NewHomeSource Professional is the developers. And I say that because in my previous life, I was a software tester. And when I would tell developers, users aren't going to use the software like this, I was told they should use the software like that. Our developers, if we say agents don't use this, like this, they actually like to go in and make the changes, which is one reason they hired me as an agent, and our other trainer, Angela Kellerman, she's an agent in the Austin, Texas area as well. So it's really nice if you have suggestions. Anybody can go down to the very bottom of all the pages on NewHomeSource Professional, click Contact Us, and they can submit a suggestion. Could you add this? What do you think about that? And we've actually gone in and made changes based on just what agents have told us. For example, during the pandemic, we were told, how do you search for RV garage? And we didn't have a filter that allowed you to search for new communities that offer, let you have RV garages.
Right.
But it was asked for so much that our developers went in and added the filter. So now you can go in and search for new communities that allow you to build an RV garage. So I really like that aspect of our tool, just because the developers are so on board with just making changes that.
Yeah, Suzanne, we're always looking for feedback, I got to tell you.
Right.
And, from the agents actually doing it, because
Right.
Sometimes engineers, they're great, but, sometimes like to do stuff that, is fun and whatever, but not exactly maybe what the agent's looking for or needs.
Correct.
Right.
Right. So I'm going to go back to the main screen by just clicking the logo at the top left there. So when you run a search, agents run a search, you're going to use the main screen here. I'm in the Austin area, so if you don't mind, I'm going to go ahead and just do Austin, Texas. Y'all, agents in your area could search anywhere in your area. And I've noticed it's making me log in more than it used to. I'm not sure why.
Gotcha. Well, everybody's big on security now.
Right. So it brings you to search results. Again, if you've not used NewHomeSource Professional, this is what's called our list view. On the right-hand side over here, they have a list view, a map view, different views of just the same information in a different format. At the very top here, there are filters that allow you to change what you're looking at. The first one is the location. It always shows the location you entered on the main screen. And then, so you just click them to go through here. Now, one of them that they have is home status. And we get this question a lot, is what is home status? Home status is where in the building process is the home that showed up in the results. Because when you go see a builder, you go visit the model home. Then they have plans. Usually, they're either up on the big screens, you can see and touch and play with them, or they give you a printout. And that means your buyer goes in and says, I like this plan that has 4 bedrooms, 3 baths, a game room. Then they also, though, will have under construction homes, meaning they've already started this home, but it's not completed yet. And now they're having inventory again. And the reason I say that is during the pandemic, inventory sort of went away. You could not go to a builder and have 4 houses they've already completed. There was just too much of a demand. But right now, they do have inventory available. So if you have that buyer that says, I don't want to look at new construction because I don't have time to build a home, don't discount new construction because of that. Because they may have the plans that are the under construction that could be done in 2 weeks, 2 days, 2 months, and that could fit your buyer's timeline. They could have a home that's completed right now. And a lot of their promotions, sometimes when they do that, it could be you'll get a better deal on an inventory home. They may say, if you buy this inventory home, not only can you buy down your rate, but you may get $10,000 to make changes at the design studio or something like that. So that's really good. And that's one reason why, if you're interested in learning about new construction, we always suggest go meet the builders, go to the on-site, get to know their on-site agents, get to know the community, get to know the floor plans, because then when a buyer calls you up and says, I'm interested in XYZ, you may say, oh, have you considered this new community? Because right now they have these homes that are already completed. And if you decide to buy one, you might be paying less than your budget actually allows because of all the promotions. So that's a great feature. And when you run a search, you can actually say, well, my buyer has to move in a certain time, so I don't want to plan. I don't want to look at a model home. And when you click apply filter, it would only show you the completed or the under construction. Even if you don't know about what home status is and use the filter, one of the new changes we've added is adding this little icon here. So when you hover over it, it will tell the agent this property is completed. You hover over this one that has like the dotted lines, this one's a plan. So that's a nice quick way for you to look and see, well, how many of these properties that I'm looking at are plans? Are they under construction? Like this one with the diagonal lines, that's under construction. So it's a quick, fast way for you to see that. And if you only wanted to find the homes that are completed, you can actually come over here under the sort by, and then you could go by and you could find status available plan, something like that. So it's nice for you to be able to go in there and quickly be able to sort by what kind of property that your buyer's actually looking for then. So that's just a new one that they've added on the thumbnail over here that you'd be able to do. And I'll show you, if you look at the photo one, it's just going to have that right there. So it makes it easy for the agent to quickly go in and look at that. So those are some of the kind of features that we're trying to add to make it easier for the agent to quickly, because I feel like a lot of times what happens is you have an agent who has a buyer and they may have not used NewHomeSource Professional before. So they might not have time to go to all our trainings that we offer, because we do offer a webinar every week, but they want to use it. And so without having to know what does the home status filter mean, that's an easy
with a glance.
Just with a glance, they can easily, glance and a quick move of the cursor. That's a nice way for them to figure that out there. Some other features that we've been changing so that it's easier for the agent are under the saved listings. When you have a buyer go out to look at information that you've shared, they can look at the searches you've sent and save listings. And they're going to show up under this feature here at the top. If you hover over save listings, it'll show you first the name of the buyer, and then it would show you the number of listings you've saved for them. And if you click on it, it's going to show you all the listings that either you saved for the buyer or they saved themselves. And one column that helps you is this right here. It says saved by me. If you scroll down, it would say client. So that allows the agent to know if the client's going in there and actually actively working with what you've sent them. Right. So that's a nice feature. And when the client's on their side and they decide they like something, they can send you messages. They can like a property, love a property, and it will show up over here. So you can see the little heart means the client loves this property. If there's nothing there but the question mark, that means they haven't made any kind of action. This one has the thumbs up, like a Facebook thing. It could be a thumbs down. And then they have this little message box. So a client can send a message to an agent. And when the agent clicks that box, they'll see a note there. One thing that happens when the client sends a message to the agent is this box. And show me if you can see this, because I know Zoom, sometimes you have to do new share or something like that. So this is the message that an agent would get from a buyer. And you can see it says Betty Boop has saved the message. It shows a little bit about the listing. And then down it has the message. I love this one. There's a link here that says click here to read the full message thread. If I click on it, it's going to open up the message. And before, what it would do is it would actually go to just the information about that one listing. So the agent was always searching, where's the message? It would just go to like the details about that. And we've made a change. So now it opens up that exact information within your saved listings section as an agent. And it opens up the box here. So it makes it quick and easy for an agent to find the message. They see the message from the client. They can type down here anything they want. They can use a quick response. If they choose a quick response, they could still edit that. Over here, it gives them a little information about the property itself. It will show if the client has done a love, a like, a dislike, something like that. Tells you when it was saved, and it allows you to click schedule a tour, and you can send a note straight to the builder to say, I'd like to bring my client in on Monday at 2 p.m. or something like that. So it makes it easier for the agent to see what the client has said, see the details about that property, and message the builder all at the same time. So it's just a quicker way for the agent to find what they need and schedule an appointment for that buyer. So that's really nice, I think, for the agent there.
Definitely.
Then another feature that we changed is under the over here under your name. What will happen when a client starts taking action? They save some listings, they save their own search, they like a property, is in addition to the email that I showed you, the agent's going to start seeing a number appear over their name there at the top right corner. And that is an indication when the agent logs in that one of their clients is doing something. They're saving listings, they're liking listings. So it's a great feature, I think, for an agent because they're always looking for a valid reason to call their client, text their client, to not be just like, hey, have you found anything you like? This allows the agent to see that number. Then when they hover over their name, the drop-down appears and they see the Manage My Client activity. And when they click that, it's going to open up all the activity that's been going on with their different clients.
Okay, fantastic.
So I like this because, one, you see what's going on. This client commented on a listing, or they removed a listing. They loved something, they saved a listing, they disliked a listing. So it does two things, I think, for the agent. One, it allows you to know if your client's doing their own searching. So you know if they're active, and that gives you a chance to call them up and say, are you ready? Two, they say, I love this property. When you click on one of these, it's going to take you directly to that property, back to that message again. But to me, it does something else, which is better, which is I may have never been to the Treviso community. I may never have worked with Taylor Morrison, and it allows me to do a little bit of research in NewHomeSource Professional on this listing before I call up my client. So if I've never been to this community before, maybe I just take the information that's presented here, because within NewHomeSource Professional, you'll have a way to click request to register a client. Now, this doesn't register your client right now. This is one of the things that we've been asking for to be changed for a while. What this does is sends a message to the builder and lets them know an agent wants to know how to register my client. What do I do? And one reason that's important is sometimes you'll see other sites like ours that say fill in your client's information to register them. But builders all have different ways to register their clients right now. Some of them make you call their internet sales team and you give your information on to the internet sales rep, and then they'll email your client. They email you at the same time, and if your client agrees, then you're registered. Some of them have an online form they want you to fill out. Some of them have an online form, but they'll still say in little print, you have to come to the model home the very first time the client goes. So what we hope this does is it allows the agent to get the exact procedures that builder has for them to register their clients. So they know exactly, because I would love to tell you that all the builders do this the same, but that is not.
Yeah, and Suzanne, it's always a major concern, right?
Right. It's
obvious.
a very big concern.
And sometimes it causes agents to maybe steer their clients away from this type of a solution.
Right.
So that's a good point.
And one thing we say in all of our trainings is communication is the key. If you go meet the builder's on-site sales agent, they're going to tell you exactly what it takes to register. If you call them, if you talk to them, and then you have to, as an agent, talk to your client. Your client does not stop by the builder on Saturday just to be malicious and cut you out of the deal. they don't know what's going on. They may not even know that you can help them with new construction if you don't tell them in the very beginning, hey, by the way, if you're interested in new construction, I can schedule appointments, I can get the information, and I can help you through the process so that you actually have representation on your side there. So it's really important to communicate. If they've taken my
to the buyer and to the builder, right?
Right. It's very important. It's both. And one, I always say, if you go meet those on-site sales agents, then you know exactly how you can work together as a team to make this the most seamless process for your buyer out there. There's no surprises. You already know what's going to happen, and you work together for your buyer. So that's the best that's available. So all the information, again, that's here, the photos that are here. If there's a promotion that the builder shares with us, it's going to show up somewhere down here underneath the photos. But all of this information's really great. So if I've never been to Treviso before, I can go through all of this and know a little more. So when I call my buyer and they ask questions, I'm not going to be like, I don't know. Right. So if they scroll through here, they're going to be able to see all the information. How do you get there? There's a commute calculator. That one I'll have to report because it says no photo available. Community information. And again, the builder gives us all of this information.
Right.
And
at the very worst, it's like a conversation start,
Right.
Like you said, to answer some basic questions to get the ball rolling, right?
Right. And so and by the way, this is also one of the places that they can find that shareable link over here that I mentioned earlier. One of the questions we get a lot from agents is, can we post these? That seems like something the builder wouldn't like, but the builders actually sign an agreement with us that says agents can market through NewHomeSource Professional. They can't take the photos and download them and do what they want to with them, but if they use this shareable link over here and they click it, it then says link copied, and all they have to do is go to Facebook. I keep saying that Twitter. It's not Twitter anymore. X. Go to X, go to LinkedIn, go to any social media post, and they can share that out there. So, or you could text that to a client, you could email that to a client, and the link directs a buyer back to that microsite that I mentioned there before.
That's a good point right there, Suzanne, because it's not to the builder, right? It's to their own branded site, like we
correct,
talked about
right? So if I create a post on social media and somebody sees it and clicks it, what it's going to take them back to, and I'll just open it up real fast so I can show you. This is my showing new site. And so if somebody clicks any of my social media posts, if I've emailed a link to my client, if I've texted a link to my client, it always directs them back here. And it would actually, if I sent one property, open up the details of that property right there.
Back to your branded site, right?
Right.
Branded site.
Right. And the agent is the one that sets all of this up. So I have my broker's logo here. I have my information at the top, and I'll go back to that's y'all's site, but I'll go back here. And we've gone over this before in one of your past vendor spotlights, right. But if you go over and hover over your name and click myshowingnew.com site, this is where agents customize that site. So they can add all their contact information, their license number, a link to their own website. They can add links to their social media sites. They can add images such as their photo, their broker logo.
Suzanne, it's probably the first thing, right? Agents who haven't used your site, probably the first thing they should do, right? Is
I agree.
Get branding up, get your site ready.
Right.
That seems logical to, and then from there, if you're going to post those links and everything and direct people back to your branded page, right?
Right. And that's one thing we stress in our webinars, because I also answer the support tickets. So if somebody sends us a ticket and says, how do I email my client? I usually say, before you email your client, make sure that you have all of this set up. Because you don't want somebody to go on your site and then maybe we have an old email address, an old phone number, or there is no phone number there. So you want to make sure all of that's set up. So when you email your client, because it may be a new client, that it looks professional. You can add what's called popular searches, meaning, and I'll go back to my site. when I'm a buyer and I get onto this agent showing news site, here there's these popular news searches.
Okay.
So without even having to enter anything up here, maybe I'm not tech savvy,
Right.
I could just go down here and click, and it would take me to homes in that area there. And the agent gets to customize what shows up there. And we do a basic NewHomeSource Professional webinar where we go through step by step, how do you set up this site? There's a About Me section that you can go in and just give a little bit of your bio. If you have a video, you can add a link to that. So if you have a welcome video. So this is a nice feature. I think it looks professional if you definitely set it up, and it allows you to share that out with your clients so that they say, oh yeah, we're interested in new construction. Send them your link and they can run searches. They can save the information and communicate.
And you can get that messaging going back and forth and everything.
Right. So here, this is my showing new site again. If somebody liked this and they said, oh, I want to save this, it's going to prompt that buyer to create an account.
Gotcha.
So they can run searches on the showing new site, but they can't save, share any of that without actually creating an account.
Okay.
And that's when, once an account is created, the agent's going to get an email that says you have a new lead from your showingnew.com site. And once they start saving their own listing searches, that's when that activity comes in. That's going to email you, or you start seeing that number up there and you go to manage my client activity and see what is that buyer doing. So it gives you insight as to what they're doing before you even talk to them. Again, you can go visit the communities or just use the information that we have here. So you know a little bit about that before you call your client back up and say, do you want to go see some properties or something like that? You might know ahead of time that they have 5 inventory homes with these great promotions going on. And to me, that's going to increase your value with your client because they know that you're on the ball and that you already have that information to share with them.
Yeah, I think you hit it on the head, Suzanne. If you don't tell your clients, right, they're not going to assume that you know anything about new construction or have this data, if you don't have that conversation. So
Right. And so when you're sharing to social media, that's another way to let your network know that you're educated and you're knowledgeable when it comes to new construction. And I tell this story all the time. It's probably getting old, but I was at a dinner one night and somebody else brought up a new community. And one of my friends said, ask Suzanne, she knows everything about new construction, because they kept seeing my post all the time with the new homes there.
Yeah, for a lot of them, where are they going to go? They don't know is somebody that specializes or even know that you do it. So
Right. And rather than having to go to 6 different builder sites, this is one site for the agent, one site for the buyer. So those are just some of the new features. We have some more new features coming up. We may even be doing some rebranding. And if that's the case, I'd love to come back to talk about it.
Sure. Yeah. No, for sure. We're definitely going to have you back, Suzanne. You guys do a great site on the site, and new construction. We were just doing we do some podcasts with, kind of in the government side in California. And in California, obviously, they're trying to be a leader in a lot of forced kind of electrical, appliance mandates to, gone are the gas, gone are this, but a lot of houses are going to be on the hook. You lose that water heater, it's going to have to be, and so for new construction, down the line, you might save yourself because you're not going to be buying a house with maybe that, that upgrade you're going to have to pay for in a year or two when all these things kick in.
Correct. And if you're an agent that really wants to make this a specialty, I go to a site called Builder Online. It's really meant for builders, but I find a lot of good information that helps me with my buyers, just because I know what's going on sort of in the builder world there, the builder community. So if you want to have a specialty, I suggest learning as much as possible. Go meet those agents for the builder. And I haven't gotten back into this anymore. Before the pandemic, I used to go all the time, take my own videos, my own photos, and the on-site sales agents loved it. It's free marketing. So they loved building their relationships with local agents, because they knew they were going to bring in buyers.
Yeah. Fantastic stuff. And I would encourage our subscribers watching this. We've done, like I said, we had you on, I think 4 or 5 months ago. We've had a couple of different ones, and we cover kind of a little different ones, and we have great updates on this. But I encourage them to look at our playlist on YouTube and watch those videos as well. And also, we've got your classes linked up,
Right.
on our training calendar. So,
That's awesome. Thanks.
yeah, definitely. No, thank you for allowing us to do that. So, like you said, you teach what, one a week?
Right. So if agents go to the resource section, it says webinars there,
Gotcha.
and it will take them to, and any of the links on y'all's site that they direct back here as well.
Yeah. If they go to our training calendar, click on it. I'm sure we take the basic description and everything from you guys. But they click that link, it's going to take them right back in, but it lets them register and all that.
Right. So it comes here and it gives you a little summary. When is it, what time, and all of our times, just so you remember, our Central Standard Time.
Okay. Yeah.
Because we get a lot of emails about 1 to 2 hours after the webinar that says the password's not letting me in. And I'm like, well, that's because the webinar was 2 hours ago.
Makes sense.
And so we also do have some recordings of past webinars down here. So if you don't have time that exact day, then you can watch one of our webinars. And we do send recordings. So if you sign up for one next Thursday, because we have actually our advanced one next Thursday, and you can't make it, well, then the very next day, you're going to get the recording of that webinar there.
Gotcha. Fantastic. And, I definitely, again, encourage agents to, go in there. First thing, set up that page, your branding, and get all your information in there,
Yes.
so that you can start posting on social media. If you've got time, take the webinar class, because there's a good chance right now with the market we're in, agents to bypass maybe the possible solution for clients or get clients this way. I would definitely encourage them to go ahead and take that first step.
Yeah, and new agents especially, they often they're like, what do I post? Online. They're what do I put? And I'm like, well, one, don't put all real estate. Happy, feel good, something going on in the community, then a real estate post.
Yeah.
But this is a fast, easy way for new agents to have real estate content that is professional looking and will direct buyers back to a site for them.
Beautiful. Suzanne, I want to thank you again for coming on.
Thank you
for all this great stuff. We got the holidays coming up, so I want to wish everybody happy holidays.
Yeah.
Happy New Year. And, don't be a stranger. Let us know when you got even more great stuff coming out.
Okay.
We'll have you back on, Q1.
All right. Great. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Take care, Suzanne.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Make sure to check out our Pro Support page for additional videos on a full range of topics. And don't forget to click that subscribe button on our MLS Listings YouTube page.